Hey guys and gals, how we doing today? Denmark 7643. Say, I just wanted to highlight a couple of teams with this DR counter. I kind of had a real bummer this week. First of all, just sending out a PSA
Tambor, who's
to let you
still
know that you really need to change your Google Play passwords frequently or whatever manages your account on your Apple devices because someone else decided to promote a bunch of my characters and place a Gear 13 finisher on my Jedi training Rey. So, not super fun. Not super fun at all. So, just a PSA, make sure that you go into Google Play and fix that stuff because otherwise you can be in big trouble and you can end up in a situation like me where I didn't enable two-factor authentication or anything on the account because it's, many years ago and I've never linked my credit card to that account because I don't spend in the game, so I'm not really worried about them stealing any credit card information or anything like that. And yeah, they went in and spent a bunch of my resources and set me back another month. So just a PSA, take care of that stuff, protect yourself. Go change your Google Play account or your Google account passwords frequently. So I wanted to do a video on this team here because I see a couple of these. This is one of the two most common Rey teams on my shard. There's this one and there's the Jedi that are coming out. But this Gas, Chewie, and Purse Brothers team is pretty sweet. So basically the whole point with this one is just lock it down. So Insanity and then Fracture immediately. It's really easy. There's no pre-taunter. And then you just want to use basics for the most part on this, except for Insanity when it comes up. You give your tech to DR in this version of it, and because you don't need to get around any taunts or anything. And you just keep Insanity out there. It'll just lock down the other players with fear, and as long as you don't AoE or hurt them, they're going to lose their turn. So you can pretty much just get Rey down to the situation where she is just absorbing everything in her invulnerability for a minute. And there's not much you can do except just kind of wait it out. Make sure that you keep that Insanity going and just sit and let her do her thing, because eventually she's going to come out and take her turn, and then you can wheedle her down and take care of business. She's going to get her ultimate here, very likely. And you just stay on her. I mean, you can see like the rest of her team has barely taken any turns, if any. So, and there's her ultimate. And again, you just hang out. You have to just hang out. Keep up those basics and just wait it out. Eventually she'll get another turn and do her thing and we'll hit your brute really hard, and that's okay. And then you just need to reestablish control, because now there's a lot of characters on the other side that do not have fear on. So, but here you go. You just get your Insanity again and lock them down and just stay on Rey until she's dead. Don't hit the other players. Just let fear do its work, and they'll come out from underneath it, but they won't get their turn. They'll lose it, so they have to get 2 turn meters full. You'll see them take a couple of turns here because Flair's mods are really good. But by then, Rey's dead. So with it, most of the threat is gone, and then you just want to work Chewie as best you can, because he's keeping guard on Finn, which is a pain in the butt. We don't like that where I come from. It's the main reason that I switched to DR is because of these comps that are running Chewie. It's very frustrating because with Rebels you can't do anything if you can't critical hit. It sucks, and you can't stun Finn either with Han, so they just get this leg up and they start ramping up, and they'll dispel the taunt, buff immunity or whatever on your GBA, and you have no tank at that point, and their team can just destroy you, and Rey will whirlwind somebody that you don't want her to, and it just falls apart quickly. So that's why I relicked and built up my Sith Empire, just that pair, DR and BSF, just for this very reason. So kudos to Flair. This is a really nice team, and he says that it climbs really well so far. I'm not sure, though, with the advent of this buff to Supreme Leader Kylo Ren now, I'm seeing a lot more people using Padme out there. So there's this Padme lead team that I'm going to have to build videos on here, hopefully this coming week. Hopefully I can find a solve for it somehow. I really have no idea how I'm going to get through it just yet, but that's the pain in the butt with these galactic legends. The second you figure out how to beat one permutation, then another one comes out of the woodwork and you're in big trouble. But you can see I fractured him at the end here too. That's a mistake because, I mean, I was worried about timeout. I shouldn't have fractured him. I need him to take his turn so that he gets rid of his invulnerability. It would have been much quicker. But other than that, it was a pretty clean match. So that's pretty much it for this team. And then this is the other one that you see a lot of right now. This Rey plus General Skywalker and Revan and Wat and General Kenobi. And I have to move this Relic 7, pure Relic 7 team here every single night with the ultimate and whatever else. And you know, I don't lose to it. I've never lost to it. And I think it's just because I was so used to that Chewie team ahead of time that here you give the tech to BSF instead so she can fear GK. And then you do the lightning move here, which damages him and puts shock on GK. Most of the time it gets rid of the taunt with the buff immunity and everything else that happens after it. If it doesn't, you can use GBA's turn here to cleanse the taunt so that you pass with Thrawn. And to GBA, he can cleanse it, and then you can fracture Rey. But either way, then it becomes the same pattern where you can just continue to use Insanity on Rey and everybody else uses basics on her. In particular, BSF's basic is really great because it does ability block, so you don't need to worry as much. I mean, Rey is very, very, very fast, but you're still able to come out ahead where usually she's constantly ability blocked. And the rest of the party is under fear. Now this sucks. I mean, I know it's a real bummer, and don't be tempted to use all the area effects stuff and free up the rest of the team because Revan is going to mark somebody and it becomes a huge pain. And here's the ultimate that wasn't on my video earlier because Bad Carl didn't have it at the time. But you can see when she comes out from underneath this mess, she can use her ultimate, protects everybody, GK gets his taunt back. But it's the same thing here. You just need to be mindful. Use a basic, put a buff immunity on GK with your DR, then put out a fear on him. And now all you need to do is damage him with anything. And it'll strip it off, and he's got buff immunity, so he won't get taunt back. And you can get back on Rey to lock down the team. And basically, you just finish her off at that point. You just finish her off. You don't need to worry about the rest of them. Between Insanity and the fear that is a result of that, the rest of the party is just bored, and then the fracture seals the deal. She doesn't get any more turns, and she's dead. And then it becomes a race against the clock. Now, I've tried so many different ways to get Revan killed ahead of time because when he's not in the leader slot, he won't proc Savior on himself. But no matter what I do, I just end up killing somebody first. I can't seem to get the move order or the timing right because GK constantly pulls up his taunt. But, you know, you have a couple of different ways to get rid of it. BSF has shock and DR has buff immunity on his basic, plus he has area effect shock. And fear strips buffs, so as it does, Geonosian Brood Alpha has an area effect buff strip as well, plus you have fracture from Thrawn, so there's all kinds of control to get around the taunts, and you're basically just trying to wait it out, hurt them all till half, and then move on to the next person, and just wait for them to take a turn, and do whatever you can to not slow their progress. I mean, I've made mistakes before where I've fractured people at the end there, and they're fractured with invulnerability. It just takes forever to get to them. And some of these matches, I mean, most of them are into the 4 minutes or more mark. Some of them go down to 4 minutes, 30 seconds. It's just takes so much time to get through these Rey squads. But you're really never in any danger of losing to them. At least if you follow this move order and you're just patient with yourself and you'll only basic and take care of Rey till she's off the board, then after that, it becomes a pretty simple matter to just rinse yourself. See, like right here, I was smart this time. I was like, nope, I'm not fracturing there. We got to wait for this turn to expire. So we do. And it works out just fine. You just have to wait, and they disappear. So yeah, that's it. Just a PSA. Protect yourself. I have a message in with Lucifer's daddy on the main boards, just letting him know that, hey, you know what? I'm not looking for any compensation here. I really don't need anything necessarily. It could have been so much worse. They could have deleted my mods or whatever else and just caused me a huge headache. But instead, it was just kind of a nuisance. Like, oh, hey, can I do this to this guy? Yep, I did. And then, I don't know, it's almost ethical hacking because he wasted some gear and he unlocked a bunch of stuff on my account. You know, I'm not happy about the Gear 13 finisher on JTR right now, since right now Supreme Leader Kylo Ren after the buff seems like the way to go. I mean, that's going to be a huge waste of materials, and I just really I'm really upset. It makes me feel like, I mean, I had my identity stolen once upon a time. Somebody got into my PayPal information, and it was a problem in the past. And I've also had issues where my bank check card was compromised, and it really just, identity theft sucks. And so it's just a bummer to have one more instance. But if you're smart, you can enable two-factor authentication on this stuff and make sure that, they have to text your phone too before they go changing stuff around on you. And like I said, whoever did it went in there, and I don't know how long they were doing it, but my guess is it's been for, a week or two, because I had noticed a couple of peculiar things happening with my account. Just seeing that message, oh, somebody or another device is logged into your account or whatever. You see that, and you're like, well, maybe it has been 24 hours since I logged in or whatever, and you just ignore it. But the reality is, other people can get your information, and once they do, they can get in there and wreak havoc. I'm just really lucky that they didn't delete all my mods. And, I mean, that would have ended me right there. If they just would have deleted all my good mods, that would have been it. Or even if they had gone into my Google account and changed the password on me, it would have been very, very, very difficult. So I'm just glad that I was able to catch it ahead of time. So protect yourselves. Thanks a lot for watching. And until the next video, Denny out. I'll do what I can to get some more Supreme Leader Kylo Ren videos in here as I figure out how to defeat him. Even if I can defeat him now. I have yet to face the buffed version, so tonight's climb will tell the tale whether or not I'll get an opportunity. Thanks again. Denny out.